Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got a little bit of a newer video. I was sort of doing it after the fight nights or pay-per-views, fighters, like the biggest losers of the fight, the card or whatever. And this is another one. I think this one's pretty cool. Let me know down if you agree, if you don't, if you like to see something different with these ideas. Just let me know down there. But today we're talking about, got a couple fighters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters that really need to prove something in this next Saturday's fight card. First is Matt Schnell. He's 6-5 UFC. We've seen him, I think the longest winning streak he has had is 2 in a row. And then he's win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And he's the thing that hurts him, and the reason why he's on this list is he's a guy that's not going to take short notice fights. He needs a whole training camp, and he's not really a guy that's been winning. Yes, he won his last one, took more punishment than I've ever seen him take before, and actually still be there. And it's one of those things that this fight he really has to show out. He really has to show. He's 32 years old. You gotta show. Are you gonna be that guy that can reach to the next level, or are you gonna be that guy that will win some, have some exciting fights, but also never be a top 5, maybe even a top 10 guy, depending on the matchups and stuff. But Matt Schnell definitely on this list. Next is Jack Hermansson. I think Jack Hermansson is perfect for this. 10-5 in UFC. This fighting Roman Dolidze. Roman is not on this list because I don't think there's much more for him to prove. He's slowly reaching those spots as it is anyways. But Jack Hermansson needs this win. And not only that, he needs to be impressive. Like Derek Brunson and him would have been a really fun fight. That would have been a fight for him to show out on. His last fight was against Chris Curtis, and he showed some different things in there. So because he's still improving, he's 34. You gotta hit that next step, or are you gonna be like a Krzysztof Jotko, win some, lose some, not really do anything impressive in the UFC? And I think that's kind of where Jack Hermansson's at. People are gonna see that record and see that it's much more than it is, because every time he's fought that next level, he's came back down. So we'll see about Jack Hermansson. Next is Niko Price. I think he started out 10-0. I think he was 10-0 when he was KO'd. No, he was submitted by Vicente Luque first, and then he was KO'd by Razak Al-Hassan. Niko Price, very fun fighter, always puts himself out there, and he just hasn't been winning. He won his last one against Alex Oliveira, Brazilian cowboy. And Niko Price, he fought Jeff Neal, very fun fight. Just his style is sometimes reckless, and that gets him to lose sometimes. Also, he has 2 no contests in there. One of them was a win against Cowboy. Another one was also a win against Alex Moreno. So I guess technically his record would be 9-5, but still, that's the record that shows on there. Again, Niko Price in this fight needs to prove something, needs to show that next level to his game. It's okay to be reckless at times and stuff, but you gotta be more calculated, and you gotta win the fight impressively. It's one thing just to win, but at 32, Jack Hermansson's 34, Matt Schnell's 32, all 3 of these fighters, you gotta do something impressive to hit that next level, to show that you're gonna be good. Because as we've seen, like Krzysztof Jotko won quite a bit, lost a couple times, won quite a bit, and then lost recently against Bryan, Holland, and they realized he's not really going to be anything, and he was released. It's one of those things. Next, Marc Diakese. Marc Diakese was 11-0 when he lost. 12-0 when he lost 3 in a row, and he has now won 2, so he's going for his 3rd one against Michael Johnson this weekend. Marc Diakese needs to prove something. They brought him in because how creative of a striker and how exciting he is and was. He's kind of abandoned that because he wasn't winning with that type of fighting style. He's more winning now with his wrestling, control, striking at times, but not much. Marc Diakese needs to prove it this weekend that he can be that guy. He's still only 29, be 30 in March. So let's see what he can do. Next, Eryk Anders came in, I believe he was 10-0. Lost a controversial split decision against Lyoto in Brazil, but kind of been downward since then. Now in a different weight class at 35 years old, really needs to show out in this fight. This is a huge, huge fight for Eryk Anders and for his career. Lost 2 in a row, even though I did think he won his last one. Still, either way, he's lost 2 in a row. You see his record, 6 wins, 7 losses, and 1 no contest. And a no contest I did think was one of his more impressive wins. Changed to a no contest because of the illegal knee. He looked great in that fight. Next is Clay Guida. Clay Guida, 41 years old. We know the carpenter, classic mustache, the burping in the corner, the crazy cardio. He's just that guy that wins one, loses one, wins one, loses one. He did have a little bit of streak there. I did think he beat Marc Madsen 2-1 in that fight. The judges gave it to Marc Madsen, whatever. But Clay Guida, he's just, you gotta win or you're gonna retire. I mean, you're 17 and 16 in the UFC, so it's just something you have to do, and he needs to be impressive. I don't want to see Clay take more punishment. Luckily, he's just been getting submitted, but you have to, especially fighting Scott Holtzman, who's also on this list, who's 75 in the UFC. Scott Holtzman, he only lost by decisions for a long time. He's been finished in back-to-back fight against Gamrot and Beneil Dariush. Needs to prove that he's still there at 38 years old. You gotta prove it. And it's the same thing with Clay Guida. Can you get to that next, even if it's just top 10? And the last is Wonderboy. Striking's great, rough wrestling. Wonderboy has got to show out. You guys know what it is. Hit the subscribe button. Peace.